The conflict in the story is that Jingmei's mom wants her to be a child prodigy, but she doesn't want to be one. The turning point was when Jingmei told her mom she didn't want to play piano anymore. We will read you the scene.
I'd assumed that my talent show fiasco meant that I would never have to play the piano again. But 2 days later, after school, my mother came out from the kitchen and saw me watching TV.
4 o'clock.
She reminded me as if it were any other day. I was stunned, as though she were asking me to go through the talent show torture again. I planted myself more squarely in front of the TV.
Turn off TV.
She called from the kitchen 5 minutes later. I didn't budge, and then I decided I didn't have to do what my mother said anymore. I wasn't her slave. This wasn't China. I had listened to her before, and look what happened. She was the stupid one. She came out from the kitchen, stood in the arched entryway of the living room.
4 o'clock.
She said once again louder. I'm not going to play anymore, I said nonchalantly. Why should I? I'm not a genius. She stood in front of the TV, and I saw that her chest was heaving up and down in an angry way. No, I said, and I now felt stronger, as if my true self had finally emerged. So this was what had been inside me all along. No, I won't, I screamed. She snapped off the TV, yanked me by the arm, and pulled me off the floor. She was frighteningly strong, half pulling, half carrying me towards the piano as I kicked the throw rugs under my feet. She lifted me up onto the hard bench. I was sobbing by now, looking at her bitterly. Her chest was heaving even more, and her mouth was open, smiling crazy as she were pleased that I was crying. You want me to be something that I'm not, I sobbed. I'll never be the kind of daughter you want me to be.
Only 2 kinds of daughters.
She shouted in Chinese.
Those who are obedient and those who follow their own mind. Only one kind of daughter can live in this house. Obedient daughter.
Then I wish I weren't your daughter. I wish you weren't my mother, I shouted. As I said these things, I got scared. I felt like worms and toads and slimy things crawling out of my chest, but it also felt good that this awful side of me had surfaced at last.
Too late to change this.
My mother said shrilly, and I could sense her anger rising to its breaking point. I wanted to see it spill over. That's when I remembered the babies she had lost in China, the ones we never talked about. Then I wish I'd never been born, I shouted. I wish I were dead like them. It was as if I said magic words. Alakazam, her face went blank, her mouth closed, her arms slapped, and she backed out of the room, stunned, as if she were blown away like a small brown leaf, thin, brittle, lifeless.